joining us live, joining us during the recorded, segment. It's a wonderful evening here in Bangalore again, and it's great to be back on the Vidphone show. We've been doing this, celebrating women entrepreneurs, women founders series, and today we're doing a recap of some of those things. Just waiting for my co-host Ayushree to join in. So this has been a very, very interesting series for the past few weeks. Some wonderful women founders building some amazing startups. Just watching and listening to them, I think has been a lot of learning as well. So really excited to see this recap and kind of sum up what are the takeaways, what's in store for the next few sessions. So while we wait for Ayushree, also just quick couple of updates, right? So a lot of the founders, also the women founders, happy to give them free access to the whole Vidphone platform. Hi Kavita, great to see you here. Jagat here, very nice to have you back. I'm just waiting for Ayushree as well. Probably just commute. Feel free to share this with your friends. Share the link around. Let's all build the community together. So again, it's wonderful to have you. It was really great hearing you as well. Likewise, it's really nice to have you. I think a lot of learnings that we'll be discussing today. Few takeaways from what are the common aspects that we've kind of seen with the different founders who have come. Probably also some common solutions to some problems, hopefully. So let's give that a shot as well. I think all of us are here to help each other, and that's the whole idea. Just want to check once. Just give me 1 minute. Hi, Ayush.
Hi, Jagat. Good evening.
Good evening. Good to see you again.
Yeah. Welcome everyone who has joined us. Yeah. So, thank you, Jagat, for joining us. Sorry, I just got delayed by a minute. And, this session, I think this is generally the time for our Vidphone show every day, every Wednesday, and where the last 1 month and almost 1 month, 1 week, I would say, we have spoken to a lot of inspiring women over the last, 5 weeks. And it has been a pleasure to speak to so many stellar women about their journeys, about their industries, challenges, and how they have navigated the hybrid world, etc. So I think, this session today, we have spoken to a few of them, and this session today was just to do a recap of all the learnings, all the takeaways. And I think, you and me, we can just go over those. And I would also like to have your views, your thoughts on what have been the key learnings, and maybe, how we can, as a community, work more towards solving the challenges. And yeah, so that's the overall idea. Any thoughts, Jagat, before I go ahead and share my screen? I would just like to have your thoughts, and then we can go ahead.
No, I think firstly, kudos to you again. I think you're doing a fantastic job in this whole series. I've personally, had a wonderful experience listening to such wonderful founders. Again, I think this was important. It's like a pit stop, just to kind of recalibrate, kind of see what are the key takeaways, and I think I'm eager to see what you have on the slides. You're on mute, Ayushree. You're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. I was just saying I'm just sharing my screen,
Yes,
and meanwhile, if you want to, share something with the audience, please feel free to go ahead. I'll just take a minute while I do so.
no problem. No, I think overall it's been, again, as I said, uh, it's been wonderful to kind of learn and to listen to the stories of all the founders and the startup founders, uh, and specifically because March we celebrated Women's Month, so of course focus on that as well. So I think it was really nice. I'm looking forward to more sessions. In case you need some help, I'm happy to share the screen for you. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So yes. Uh, yeah. So basically, like I was telling Jagat, this session is to really speak about all the takeaways that we have had from the various people and the women we have spoken to. There were a few common things I feel that we all came across, and these women came from different industries, different stages in their lives, different types of entrepreneurs. So I mean, it was really good to see that, their different stories. So I would just touch upon a few things, Jagat, and then maybe I would want your thoughts on those too. One key thing that we came across was mentorship, the importance of having a mentor or a coach early on in your journey, who and each one of them, I think, said a very important thing, that mentors are someone who is supposed to tell you what not to do, instead of they actually getting you business. So there is this expectations with a lot of entrepreneurs that your mentor is supposed to get you business, and like collectively we felt that this is a wrong expectation. Obviously business connects are a different thing, but a mentor or a coach is actually someone who actually shows you that reality and tells you what not to do. So Jagat, your views on that, anything you'd like to share here?
Well, uh, honestly speaking, I think there are two ways to look at it. Definitely, it's very good to have a mentor. I think there's no
Yeah,
question about that. Makes life a
yeah,
lot more easy,
yeah,
not making a lot of unnecessary errors, probably. And I think very
yeah,
good point. Mentioned what not to do. Many times, what
yeah,
not to do is more important than what to do. And
exactly.
even if you do yoga, you see that in yoga first you have what not to do, yamas, then you have the niyamas. So you have what not to do first, the don'ts, then you have the do's. So that's pretty much the way life works. And I think sure, I think definitely somebody in the same industry or similar industry, but
Yeah,
very important, I feel that that mentor should, in your eyes at least, be a success. They should have
yeah,
really they should have actually gone ahead and succeeded at what they think. I think somehow I've had
yeah,
a lot of different people, a lot of mentors even today, but I kind of choose to we take it in through 1 year, and then we kind of use what makes sense and what does not. So they don't take your
yeah,
decision, so probably you have to balance it out.
yeah. No, true, Jagat. And while you said that, the same industry mentors always helps, but we also saw that, how a lot of them also had the view that mentors across industries might also help to give a, different viewpoint, from a different perspective. So that is something we saw too, and we'll maybe go on to a little more about mentors as we move ahead, and the importance of them. And as we can see here, the other things that were the other things were the importance of communities and networks. I mean, there's a saying that your network is your net worth. Kavita Gala, who was on our show, she mentioned this, and she said it's a very cliche statement, but somewhere all these women I have spoken to, they abide by this, that their networks have really helped them, going out there and really meeting people, not with the sole intention of making them into your customers, but maybe collaborations, maybe working with them together and just meeting up people in general. creating
Absolutely.
that community around has really helped them. And there was this another very interesting observation, where building networks and your community, maybe you can call it your inner circle, can actually help you prioritize your work. You might be, as an entrepreneur, as a founder, you might be doing so many things, and I mean, you might want to ask or seek help sometimes, where you might be able to delegate work to some few people in your business circle who can actually help you, and you can in turn prioritize what you need to do. So that was another finding we had. That was the like amalgamation of communities, networks, and in turn being able to delegate and prioritize your work through that network was another observation we had. And any thoughts on this, Jagat, before we move forward?
Well, I think I totally agree. We are we are social animals. So is
Yeah,
business. Business is social,
yeah,
and I think I socialize quite a bit, and for sure I agree with that, because end of the day you do business with people, and people do business with people, right?
yeah,
It's not
yeah.
about your product talking to another product. We're not in the IoT machine talking. So we're
Yes.
still in the people talking to people. So as long as that's how business works, definitely community and networks are very very important.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what we are talking about. Like, we already spoke about find a mentor and a coach early on. We spoke about the power of networks and communities, and the last one, we the observation was the use of tech and tools. So in my conversation with so many women, a lot of them also said, they know that the use of tools would make their life easier, but there's some constraint there. There's some thing that makes them feel, maybe, just to go and start using something, that there's always this I'm missing the right word, but there's
Apprehension.
always, yeah, they feel, that to learn something new, but they really want, tools and tech to really be easier to use, and which they can integrate into their current, business or their lives, which can ultimately optimize their work. And the importance of systems. With tools come systems, and I think we at Vidphone also, and Jagat, you will agree, and I'll wait for your thoughts on that. The importance of systems, right? They are pretty. I mean, having systems in place is really important for an organization to scale, and to really optimize work and work together. So, Jagat, your thoughts on this too, like, on the right tools and to have systems in place.
Honestly, I was a little bit surprised, to be honest. You know, I've probably my life's probably unique in the sense that for a long time I've always been doing tech. So
Yeah,
to me, tech is default,
yeah.
and so to me, maybe I find that a little bit.
Yeah, so here
Uh,
maybe, Jagat, I would like
Sorry.
to add. So what I meant is, they understand the value of it, and most of them are using it also. But in general, I mean, it's not just with the women who I have spoken to, but in
Yeah.
general, what they felt within their communities, that there's some constraint. It comes while you are convincing, you are like telling them to use tech, basically,
Mhm.
or the right tools early on, investing in those tools early on, basically, is
Yeah.
what I meant, the
Totally.
importance of that.
Yeah, I think so. Coming back to the same thing.
Yeah,
Uh, I do find that surprising at some level, but it may also, if you just turn it the other way, that's
yeah,
actually going to change the whole business.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like we were reading many times, there's a single stroke that you need to take to change everything. You don't need to take 10 strokes. You need to
yeah,
make one big stroke that will change the entire direction of what you're doing. So, yes,
yeah,
we are in a tech first world today. There's no question about that. I think
yeah,
a lot of the UI and user experience onboarding, many times it's free, and there's onboarding tutorials. But again,
yeah,
maybe there is an abundance of tools, right? Maybe people get
yeah,
overwhelmed,
yeah,
and generally as humans, the fact is that we like to be in our comfort zone sometimes. There's me too.
yeah,
So we all
yeah.
get uncomfortable sometimes
Yes,
learning something totally new. So it's totally
yeah,
understandable. I think it's a process. The
yeah,
simplest way to do that is not to overwhelm yourself with too many things.
yeah.
Sometimes I just like to start with one thing and do that for a
Mhm.
while before something else adds on. So that may be
Yeah,
a simple, small changes are probably a lot easier there.
yeah. No, agreed. And so, totally agree with you. And, so these were the three key common takeaways, I feel. Obviously, we spoke about a range of things, from their journeys, why entrepreneurship. And we'll come to that, because we also see that a lot of these entrepreneurs, they also say that entrepreneurship tends to get lonely sometimes. And so we touched upon those points too, but between all the conversations, we felt that these were the common that everyone abided by. They felt, or their communities, they in turn have their own communities, right? And they have been seeing this in their communities too. So
No,
thanks for
totally
your
valid. Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
totally valid.
Yeah, thank you for your inputs, Jagat. So next, Jagat, maybe a little, there also in our discussions we found some common problems and challenges, not necessarily only by them, but I'm saying they have been mentors to other startups, founders. They have their communities, and so these I'll just quickly touch upon these challenges and maybe want your views, on this, on what do you think, or what would be the right way, on your, because you have been an entrepreneur yourself, and and building something, tools to help other startups. So what would be your thoughts on overcoming these challenges, etc. So the first they said was, customers. We all know that when there's a business, customers, everyone wants to have customers. So they do find this a challenge sometimes to attract customers, and more than attract, to retain them. So maybe they do attract leads, but actually to turn those leads into customers is a challenge they faced. And I have seen this across all the interviews and all the chats that I have had. And like we all know, like a business is known for its customers, right? So I mean, obviously, so this is one thing that came out as a common challenge. The second is what I was just talking about, loneliness and that interest in work. I mean, in the sense that entrepreneurship tends to get lonely, and with the entire world going remote, especially due to the pandemic, I think people could not really meet up their teams, or or their communities, or their customers, and had everything went online. So there was some sense of loneliness there, and that interest in work, in the sense they felt that they were not being able to do their best, or work, like do the best in their capability. So this is another thing that came up. And the second and the third and the most important one, I would say, in my opinion, was the tool and time management. Where a lot of them said, because a lot of them are also small companies. These are small teams or solopreneurs, some of them, and handling a lot of operations. A business has so many operations. So they felt, they were doing so much, and they were losing, they're not being able to manage their time effectively. So this is another thing, that too many tools but too little time. So Jagat,
Right.
your thoughts on these? These were the key things, but please feel free to share any other challenge that you also feel is a common problem nowadays among our communities. And over to you, Jagat, for your thoughts.
Yeah. No, I think these are serious. I mean, these are, I think, challenges for a lot of people, not only for
Yeah,
them, right? And
yeah,
I'm also sharing, just as another startup founder, probably built, for some time. I'm also just sharing my notes. I'm not saying this is a thesis, or this is,
yes,
this is,
yes,
like the word. So
certainly,
creating
certainly.
and retaining customers is, I think, a challenge. Is the only challenge in business, really,
Yeah,
if you think
yeah,
about it.
yeah,
For everybody, that's probably the only real big challenge. Yes, there is
yeah,
technology, there is HR, there is finance issues, all kinds of things. But end of the day, every business is out there to get customers, and that definitely is where, it is the battleground, right? The marketplace is the
yeah,
battleground, and
yeah,
that's where all the companies are coming and trying to take wallet share. So
yeah.
a lot has changed since 2020.
Hmm.
I must say that for us, because probably we have been more in sync with remote, strategies.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe we've been cushioned a little bit compared to a lot of other people, because
yeah,
as you know well, right, a lot of our
yeah,
almost all of our work happens on Vidphone, right? So we schedule the
yeah,
meetings with the clients. They come here, they watch the webinars, we mail. So we're tracking them on the VCRM. So because we use a little bit of Vidphone, I think a lot of that, the lead gen and also the conversions are a
yeah,
lot better for us that way.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
Maybe it's, I think it's a lack of for many people also, it is difficult to adapt to this new world.
Hmm.
Before we would, put some pamphlets or do some advertising in some newspaper or advertising in a hoarding or whatever it might be, right? Offline media. Now, the
Yeah.
whole offline media today is kind of, nobody really cares so
Yeah.
much about offline media. But
Yeah.
if you're looking at online media, everyone's go-to option is, Google ads, Facebook ads.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the go-to for customer acquisition.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
how scalable is that? You know,
Hmm.
and if you are in a competitive market, you can never outbid your competition for that particular
Yeah.
keyword or for the cost per clicks. So
Yeah.
the one of the things that we have learned, or one of the things that we do, is again what we call at some level personality marketing, or webinars, live streaming. It's really about the founders, or the core team,
Yeah.
talking to the audiences, right, and getting
Yeah.
real-time feedback, being authentic, right? You have so many cases today of startups that are not doing the right things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There is so
Yeah.
much of corporate fraud happening. They're
Yeah.
they're lying to the investors. Founders are lying to investors. Founders lying to the customers, to the vendors. And
Yeah.
is that how we want to run companies? Probably not. And I think many times it's better not to run a company than to
Yeah.
jeopardize, the industry.
Yeah.
So these are serious issues, but
Yeah.
it's a bit of trial and error. I would definitely say that we are moving more into an authentic kind of marketing mode. As an overall, when you look at the marketing, the flavors, it's no
Yeah.
more about big product produced videos and a lot of music and all of that stuff. It's just
Yeah.
very, very raw, very live, and authentic. So
Yes.
that's, I think, something that a lot of people are doing, and I'm very happy to see that a lot of people doing their own talk shows, webinars. Even I think
Yeah.
we were with Rupa as well. So it's
Yes.
wonderful to see all that, but
Yeah.
maybe into a more organized kind of approach. Right? How many
Yeah.
people have actually got? Uh, how many can attribute a customer conversion to a particular webinar lead? Right?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen today. The webinar is done, then it's pretty much gone. Then you go to the next
Yeah.
webinar, you start from scratch. So there is no funnel. So there seems to
Yeah.
be some gaps there. I think that's on the customer side, which I think is very significant, because
Yeah.
today we are in a downturn. All business generally is doing bad, and it's not so easy for people to do it. But this might be a good time to change a few things and try something new. Right? Uh, well, the second point. Uh, what do I say? I've kind of, I wouldn't say I've experienced that too much, because luckily I've always had, some people around me,
Yeah.
no matter how tough situation is. But
Yeah.
we must stop thinking this way. We must stop thinking somehow that entrepreneurship is lonely. I think that's something that, yes, it may be true at some level, but the more you say it, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
So that's what I think support systems like, for example, I've been at NASCOM here, and before we came here, we were in our own office, and
Yeah.
definitely there is a sense of you're just in your own little well, a place that's a little outside with other people. I think automatically things change a little bit, and one of the biggest things that I learned is to learn to be by yourself. You know,
Yeah.
it's very sad that people cannot sit by themselves for a day in a room today. It's
Yeah.
you after all. So if you don't like yourself, something is seriously wrong with you. So I
Yeah.
would say that let's have maybe we could catch up more, or people can work more in co-working. Of course, is a great option where people don't feel so lonely,
Yeah.
and of course some mental practice, right? Maybe meditation, yoga, these things definitely help. So
Yeah.
we should not have that. We can be alone, but we should not be lonely. There's a difference.
Yeah.
It's totally good to be alone. Creative work happens when you're alone, but
Yes.
to be lonely is probably not the best thing.
Yeah.
Again, losing interest in the work, well, it could be due to various reasons. I don't know what could be the reasons, but definitely, if you want to start a company or a business, very important that this is figured out. And
Yeah.
some people ask me, Jagat, how do I start a company? What do you want to start up? I say, suppose you had 3 years, you had no money, you would not get paid a single rupee for 3 years. What would you do?
Yeah.
You answered that, and that's what you love. And so
Yeah.
you might do something around that.
Yeah.
And the last one, tool and time management. Well, I'm also working on all these things, right, parallelly. So I
Mm.
wouldn't consider myself an expert on all these things, but definitely these are things that I look at almost on a day-to-day basis. But coming to tool management, I think yes, there is a challenge today. There are too many tools. There's too much marketing. Everybody
Yeah.
wants to start a company and they want to sell it to you. They want to sell the
Yeah.
products to you, right? So there is a overdose of general information, thereby tools and other products. Uh, it may be also be a good thing that there are options, but many times if there is no option, life's a lot simpler. You can just take what's there and go ahead. So
Yeah.
I would say tool management. It's all about developing a real liking for technology.
True.
I would say that many times people get intimidated by the tech,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
a good way to not get intimidated is actually to face that and probably
Yeah.
learn to code where things get a little more probably
Easier.
non-intimidating, if that could be the word,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Time management, well, it's magic science. I'm still trying to figure out. Uh, I wish I could. I try and get up 2 hours earlier every day, so I have 26 hours in a day, but it never works.
Yeah.
So, time management is actually the ultimate thing.
Yes.
And I was telling you, I think yesterday we were having this conversation where all I care about is what does the calendar look like tomorrow, day after that. If
Exactly.
somebody can have their process and their life in a way that's systematic, that's
Yeah.
powerful and impactful, and they love doing that, and it's kind of sorted, I would say that you would typically lead a reasonably happy life.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when we're always running behind things and trying to catch up, living at the mercy of other people's time,
Yeah.
that's not ideal as an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, you really want to have control on that time, right? You don't
Yes.
as much as possible. It's very tough, but I think so. These are, I think, some of the thoughts.
Yeah.
Again, customers, I would say, try new things. Do things that you probably have done before, but do it slightly differently, right?
Yeah.
That would be important. Coming to the sorry, I just lost the second one there. On the third slide, just want to sum up
Yeah.
that. So loneliness, yes, I
Lonely.
would
Yeah.
definitely
We're talking
recommend
about
meditation.
loneliness. Yeah.
I would definitely recommend meditation, yoga. These things are super important. Did you know that Paul McCartney is a yogi?
Oh.
He's I think
Yeah.
77 from the
Okay.
Beatles. So the
Yeah.
Beatles, Paul McCartney, I think is about 77 or 80 or something like that, and
Yeah.
he practices yoga, and
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
yoga buddy is Alec Baldwin, and Alec Baldwin said that he has the body of a 17-year-old. Right? It's
Yeah.
just
The
magic.
benefits of, yeah, the benefits of yoga are like, immense, and it's
Yes.
helping a
So
lot of people.
it should help. It'll also give
Yeah.
direction in, I think, the work a lot. For me, at least, it helps a lot.
Exactly.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
tools and time management again. So time management, it's a ever evolving schedule. Typically, one may have to break it up into blocks and try and approach it that way.
Yeah.
Traditional
Yeah.
school. And for the tools,
Yeah.
I would say just pick a few and get started.
Yeah. So I think here time management, where we also the point on systems come, right, like which we also found as one of the things that came up many times in the conversations, and which we at Vidphone also talk about a lot. Putting systems in place, it just helps. I think it would help people more manage their time better and optimize the work. So thanks,
Absolutely.
Jagat, for beautifully summing that up with your thoughts. And like I said, these were a few things, and this was just a quick recap session on what has been happening. We'll have a lot more Vidphone shows with more stellar women and men founders coming up soon. But this was what we wanted to discuss, and with our communities, because we felt like these are few things. So Jagat, like now I would like to know a little bit, like you say, you do this day in and day out because of what are the tools you are building. So what tools, like suppose you are asked, like suggest three tools that somebody should be using, what would be your 2 cents on that, like tools for time management and customer retention or creation of customers. So what would be your 2 cents on that,
Well, three tools. Number one is email. Can't live without it. All the proposals and all the money is made on emails. We can't set it
Yeah.
on any other platform. You can't really work. Second is, I would say, asana, as everybody knows in the team.
Yeah.
Asana, I live by asana. I love it.
Yes.
And of course,
Yes.
third, you know, if you make it, you have to use it. So it's
Yeah.
Vidphone. It's simply because, not simply because we are building it. It solves most of my needs, and I think people who work with us know everything from generating leads to nurturing the leads to converting the customers to having the a CRM to having the chat to having internal meetings.
Yeah.
It does the job. Probably what 10 tools do. I think today we are in a position to do a lot of those tasks, in one place, and so that helps also keep me organized. We don't mess around with too many tools, that. So
Yeah.
we have very limited number of things, and I would say email, Asana, and Bitphone.
Yeah. Thanks, Jagat. And I think, what you said, like, about, and these, I think these tools you have been using, and you have gotten, I mean, there's another thing, that feedback is very crucial, right? For any company, like today for us also as Vidphone or any startup founder who we spoke to, everyone mentioned, how feedback is really important. And, today while you maybe as a founder is talking about Vidphone, it's also because, you have gotten that feedback from your customers, from your community, and really iterated to build the product that might that will help your customers in turn. So Jagat, any thoughts on the importance of feedback? Because this was something, this was not, I would not say it was one of the common things that we heard, but this in a way felt very crucial while we were discussing the importance of feedback while you are building your startup.
I think definitely, like you said, Bitphone has been in the works for 7 years,
Yeah.
and everything that you see on the screen, every single feature,
Yeah.
every pixel,
Yeah.
has kind of gone through some feedback from some customer, and
Yeah.
that's how we built this, right? I mean, we just didn't get up in the morning and had this whole thing. It was built
Yes.
out of so many conversations,
Yeah.
different problems that they have, and how can we solve multiple problems with one tool or one feature. Definitely, I would say feedback is, that's how you build the business. That's how you
Yeah.
find product market fit. That's how you
Yeah.
you kind of get a crude product into something that's razor sharp and does the job.
Yeah.
But one thing I would say is sometimes there is